Now that DeVonta Smith is signed, sealed, and delivered, and has such a great relationship with A.J. Brown, the Eagles must do the right thing and sign A.J. Brown to an extension. And with the Eagles beginning off-season workouts, my message to Jordan Davis is clear. No donuts for me, no donuts for thee. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Kick Dingbat here. DeVonta Smith speaks. Philly 500 listens, and that's what I exactly did today. And what I heard by DeVonta Smith was music to my ears, because what he did is just open the door wide to A.J. Brown staying in Philly a long time, and he needs to. And speaking of a long time, I've been waiting a long time for Jordan Davis to put down the donuts. And now is the chance, and I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. But before we get into all of it, I got to talk about Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman with his pocket pencil protector, his Napoleon hat, calculate the calculations of the cornbread. He had a pre-draft press conference today, along with Nick, I don't have any more cannolis, Sirianni. And they spoke. And as usual, it was, pity-patty questions, softball questions. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest. The media, they give them softball questions. They don't usually follow up on anything. And I listened to it, and believe me, you've got to listen to it and then try to make sense of what he's really saying, because they're not going to get the follow-up questions. And out of the whole press conference, there was one question, one specific question that I liked. And it's a shame that there was no follow-up. Now, let me show you the question that I'm talking about. I'm going to read the tweet that Jeff McClain wrote about the question, and then I'm going to show you at the press conference how it looked and sounded, because I think Howie Roseman was upset about this, okay? And clearly, there's something more to the Haason Reddick thing than we've been led to believe. Here's what Jeff McClain wrote. Howie Roseman on a trading linebacker Haason Reddick to the Jets earlier this month, he, quote, said it was a win-win. He then asked a follow-up to explain how the Pound Eagles compensation, a 2026 conditional third-round draft pick, could be a second-rounder. Is it an upside versus parting with one of the team's best players? Roseman said the trade can't be viewed in a vacuum. And that's all Jeff McClain wrote. But when you listen to the question and just watch Howie and watch his reaction, watch how he answers this question. I want you guys to answer this. Why somebody didn't press him on this, I don't understand. There needed to be a follow-up to this follow-up question. Check this out.
What do you think the upside is for trading Haason for the conditional pick a couple of years down the line?
Well, the pick's not conditional. We're getting a pick, so I don't really think I understand the question.
It's a third round to become a second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what do you think the upside is for trading Haason with a year left in his deal in his prime for the pick that you've got?
Well, I think you're asking a question in a vacuum without all the other factors. So, I mean, if we want to talk about all the factors that go into building the team and the resources that we put into each position, we can do that. But I don't think the question's really fair and accurately describes the transaction.
What's he mad at? What's he getting frustrated at? What is Howie worried about? What is bothering him? Obviously, the Haason Reddick trade has struck a nerve with Howie Roseman. He doesn't want anybody pushing him on it because he doesn't want to try to justify why it's a 2026 draft pick. Okay? So what I am saying and what I believe now with this whole Haason Reddick thing is that obviously, there must have been a bigger problem, a much deeper, gargantuan problem than Howie Roseman wants to talk about. There is something way more, because you just don't trade a guy like that in the last year, who's already under contract in his last year, who hasn't signed an extension with the Jets, by the way. they clearly wanted to move on, and Howie's doing his best not to trash Reddick or throw him under the table. But clearly, this wasn't about just getting a win-win. There was no win-win. This was, we've got to move this guy now for whatever the reasons. It very interesting. The funny thing about these Howie, like press conferences is you won't get a lot of stuff by the media pushing because nobody wants to push him. But if you read between the lines, if you listen to what he's saying, it's actually, to be quite honest with you, I think you get almost more sometimes because Howie said a lot without saying anything this press conference. That's why when I start talking about the Eagles are going to go after Saquon Barkley and people are like, you're crazy, it'll never happen. And then they go get him. And they're like, how did you know? It's because he says things. You just have to listen to what he's saying. And he always is speaking between the lines. You have to know Howie Roseman, Howie Vision language. I speak it fluently. So I thought that was like the most interesting part of that press conference, right? There are some other things that I want to talk about that press conference, but I'm going to save them for later because you'll be here an hour. You don't want to be here an hour. But DeVonta Smith earlier in the day had a press conference too after signing his contract. Now he was talking about, God put it on his heart to sign an extension now and how happy he is and how great Philly fans, all the right things he says. But I thought what he said about A.J. Brown, to me, was a huge sign that the Eagles should take and understand that now you've got DeVonta Smith locked up. You got to also make sure A.J. Brown goes nowhere for a long time. Here's what A.J. Brown, here's what DeVonta Smith said during his press conference with the Eagles today about him and his relationship with A.J. Brown.
Be happy for each other. It's never a time that we're sitting up there, we're mad at each other or mad at anyone about not getting targets. But, let's be realistic. Everybody wants to be a part of the game. Everybody wants to make that big play. And you should be happy that you have a guy like that because you have a lot of guys that when that time comes, they'll shy away from the moment. You have a guy like him, you have a guy like me that we're never going to shy away from the moment. When that moment comes, we always want to be a part of it. And I think that's the good thing about it. And, everybody wants to spin it this way and that way. But, you have two guys who want to be the alpha. And I feel like that's a good thing. And you have two guys that are happy for each other. Me and AJ, we talk every day. We call each other every day. We make sure that we talk on the phone every day, whether it's football, it's life. Last night we had the kids on the phone talking, babies just sitting there doing a baby talk.
So what he's saying is that they have a very special bond. They're two number one receivers, both alphas, which there's no doubt about it. But what he's saying is that relationship is so good that they're not going to get jealous about money or about who got more balls or whatever they try to make it seem like A.J. Brown is upset at this or he's upset at that because in the Minnesota game he didn't get the throws that DeVonta Smith. They tried to make a big deal. People are always trying to say they're going to be jealousy and it's a bad idea to sign DeVonta Smith, which is ludicrous. No. What DeVonta Smith is saying is we're brothers. We love each other. Pause. No Diddy. But you know what I'm saying? In that kind of way. They're friends. They're brothers. And there's no jealousy. So you've got to go out. You got to go out. And you got to try to now extend A.J. Brown past 2025. And why do I say 2025 is this? Because this year, A.J. Brown's playing under a cap of $12.3 million. Next year, his cap number jumps to 26. Then it's going to jump in 2026 to 41. So you're going to have to extend him. You're going to have to restructure his contract. Otherwise, you're really looking at this possibly being A.J. Brown's last year with the Eagles. Maybe you get one more year after that, but that's about it. I think with DeVonta Smith signed through 2028, I think it's important to sign A.J. Brown through 2028, okay? And let me show you this. You guys probably seen this, but, I mean, DeVonta Smith's contract is ridiculous also. I mean, he's going to be, well, 2025 will start. He's a $7.5 million contract, a cap number. So 7.5 in 2025. 2026, his cap number's 10.7. 2027, his cap number's 14. Then 2028, his cap number's 20. By that point, you can probably extend and restructure his contract as well. But DeVonta Smith is here through 2028. It's very, very important in my mind that you keep A.J. Brown through 2028 as well. Listen, you can't sit there and tell me that you have this coach and they want to be a team that passes the ball and can throw all over the field. Well, if that's the case, then you have to make sure you have very, very, very good wide receivers. And right now you have two of the best, no doubt about it. But I think it's important, and I think that the fact that DeVonta Smith got done so early, I actually think it opens a door to keeping A.J. Brown long term. That's right. A.J. Brown stays long term. I know there's a lot of people talking about we should get rid of A.J. Brown or we should trade him. No, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere for a long time. And I think the fact that DeVonta Smith said, listen, we don't get mad at each other. We don't get jealous of each other. We are brothers to the end. We are going to go out and we are going to do our best to win, and we're together. You got to take advantage of that, because a lot of teams, a lot of other players out there, it doesn't work like that. They're not as close as these two guys. We've got to take advantage of that. Howie's going to have to, and I think he will. I don't think A.J. Brown's going anywhere for a long, long time, and that's a really good thing. So I thought it was very cool hearing DeVonta Smith talk about that. And, you know, the other thing I got to say is this. The Eagles off-season workouts, they started, and they showed all these guys coming in. And one of the guys walking in was Jordan Davis. And I looked at Jordan Davis, I said, he don't look like he's worked out at all. He looks like he's been sitting around with 3,500 having donuts and eggnogs. So all I got to say to Jordan Davis is this. No donuts for me. No donuts for thee. Okay? Get off the donuts. The most important guy during these all-season workouts, in all seriousness, all joking and kidding aside, is Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has to be in shape. Jordan Davis is going to have to be lighter than he was last year. He was out of gas after that Buffalo game, after chasing Josh Allen, and then trying to make a play, which is a great play. It was amazing seeing him run him down. But do you notice how long he was down on the ground like this? Like 2 minutes. Like, he has to be in shape this year. He cannot afford to come in out of shape or to run out of gas. I think this is a make or break year for Jordan Davis. When you look at all the defensive players, right, we've talked about cornerbacks. We've talked a ton about, pass edge rushers. We've talked about linebackers. To me, the key to this defense is the middle of that line. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter have to be good. If they're good and they're dominating, I believe the rest will all fall into place. But it's going to come down to Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. And just keeping it real, Jalen Carter ran out of gas last year too. They both did. And that has to change. And now, right now, this is where Jordan Davis makes his season right now. He has got to be in there. He has got to get strong. Well, he's pretty damn strong, but he's got to get better conditioned. He's got to be able to last the whole year and be dominant. Early in the year, beginning of the year, Jordan Davis was playing at a Pro Bowl level. Hate to tell the haters out there, but he was. Problem is, he just ran out of gas. And I think that is coming down to conditioning. So we need Jordan Davis to be ready to go. 3,500, hey, I'm working out too. I got to be better conditioned for this season because I plan on pacing and running and yelling and screaming a lot. and I'm going to be out of breath, and I can't run out of gas during these live streams because they're going to be intense. So Jordan Davis and me, man, we got to get it together. We got to get our asses right, Jordan Davis. We're fat asses. We got to stop. We have 3 kids in the back of our head. What are you doing to yourself, Jordan? What are you doing? Look in the mirror. What are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? Stop it. Me too. We got to stop it. So let's get our shit together, Jordan Davis. Let's go out there. Let's get in shape. Let's go make babies. Let's make it happen, baby. You know what I'm saying, Jordan Davis? Let's do it. Pause. No Diddy. But that's the truth. I'm ready, as you can tell. I'm ready for the season. Could not be more ready. It's going to be fantastic. But I want Jordan Davis to, honestly, I want him to go out there, and I want him to be a Pro Bowler. I want him to go out there and shut everybody down. I do, because I'm so sick and tired. So sick and tired of the negativity with him. I think Jordan Davis has all the talent in the world. I just think he's got to be better conditioned. I believe he's a 3-down player. I believe he can play all 3 downs. I really do. And I think he can get better and better. But I think he just ran out of gas. So I'm totally losing my voice now. But I think he's got to be, I think he's got a lot of work to do. So as the workout off season begins, I hope a special eye will be kept on Jordan Davis and where he's at. Because I think the defense goes where Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter go. If those guys are dominating, I think everything else will fall into place. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat, and remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I'm gonna go for a run. Yeah, right. Peace. Boy, Cowboy fans are depressed. Depressed. That's what I call it, because they're depressed. Pressed for losing. Do you see how sad they are because the Eagles signed DeVonta Smith to an extension? Everything that could go wrong for the Cowboys this offseason has gone wrong. And I absolutely love it. 100%. It is beautiful watching them cry. I love drinking their tears. They are so good. It's like filtered mountain spring water right off of the waterfall. I love it. Keep crying, Mark Fredo Holmes. Keep crying. I'm smart. I'm smart. I can do things. Denzel Washington out.